Hello, I'm Natasha. Welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk about the worrying escalations that have been occurring between Russia and the West. This should worry most people. Germany recently told Ukraine that it was free to hit targets inside Russia with long-range German-made weapons. US President Joe Biden has given Ukraine permission to use American-supplied weapons to strike targets in Russia, but only near the Kharkiv region. Ukraine has used US weapons to strike inside Russia in recent days, a US senator confirmed. UK Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron has said that it's up to Ukraine to decide how to use British weapons and insisted that it had the right to strike targets on Russian territory. Obviously, we can't expect anything better from the British warmongers, especially Lord Cameron, who was responsible for the catastrophe in Libya. I find the sentiments expressed absolutely shameful, allowing Ukraine to use Western weapons to target Russia, thereby expanding the conflict. How has Russia responded? Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned that Moscow could arm countries with a view to attacking Western targets. He also warned that the West was wrong to assume that Moscow would never use nuclear weapons. He said, "For some reason, the West believes that Russia will never use them. We have a nuclear doctrine. Look what it says. If someone's actions threaten our sovereignty and territorial integrity, we consider it possible to use all means at our disposal. This should not be taken lightly or superficially." Vladimir Putin has named European countries with a small territory and very dense population as targets for a nuclear strike or invasion. On Tuesday, he reminded these small European countries that they are playing with fire. This is a very worrying escalation of events and should worry everyone. Not only have our leaders scuppered the Istanbul peace talks, which have led to more and more Russians and Ukrainians dying, they now think it's acceptable to escalate the conflict further. Unbelievable that we have such people leading our countries here in the West. Looking back at history, I wonder if Western nations with their failing economies are trying to distract people from the political and economic failures of their countries. If we look at history and when the US entered World War II, World War II was actually provided the ideological breakthrough that finally allowed the US government to surmount the Great Depression. America's response to World War II was the most extraordinary mobilization of an idle economy. During the war, 17 million new civilian jobs were created, industrial productivity increased by 96%, and corporate profits after tax doubled. War is often used as a last-ditch effort to prevent deteriorating economic conditions or currency crises, particularly by expanding services and employment in the military and freeing up resources to restore the economic and social order. A diversionary foreign policy or a diversionary war is an international relations term that identifies a war instigated by a country's leader in order to distract its population from their own domestic strife. And we know that Western economies are struggling at the moment, and there is massive dissatisfaction among people living in the West. Would an escalation with Russia provide the West with the distraction it needs? However, there will be no winners in a nuclear war, none, and one can only hope that Western leaders realise this before it's too late.